You now have some experience running R code. I didn't give you many details, but you've obviously figured out the basics, or you would have not come to this part of the course. Frustration is natural when you start programming in R because it's such a stickler for punctuation, and even one character out of place will cause it to complain. But while you should expect to be a little frustrated, take comfort in that it's both typical and temporary. It happens to everyone, and the only way to get over it is to keep trying. Before we go any further, let's make sure you've got a solid foundation in running R code and that you know some basics of how to get helpful RStudio features. First, let's start with coding basics. There are some basics that we've omitted in the interest of getting you plotting as quickly as you can. You can use R as a calculator. So if we just start coming in here and typing values, so let's do 1 divided by 200, 200 times 30. It outputs 0.15. That's a basic calculation. You can take sine pi divided by 2, and that gives you an output of 1. That's not perfect, but that's the output we'll use for now. You can create new objects by using the caret function. So we use that in the last section with the tribble command up here. So let's set x as a variable, and we'll set it to be 3 times 4. All right, so we've set the variable x. All R statements where you can create objects or assign statements have the same format. So you have what your object name is, and then you have the caret, and then you have the value of that object. When reading that code, say object name gets value in your head. You will make lots of arguments, and the caret is a pain to type. Don't be lazy and use equals. It will work, but it will cause confusion later. Instead, use RStudio's keyboard shortcuts. Alt, then the minus sign. So if we hold down Alt and the minus sign, it will automatically create that caret function. That one. It automatically creates that. So notice that RStudio automatically surrounds the caret with space, which is good for formatting. Now let's look at what's in a name. Object names must start with a letter and can only contain letters, numbers, and an underscore and periods. You want your object name to be descriptive, so you'll need a convention for multiple words. I recommend using an underscore when you have multiple words. We'll come back to the code style later, but that gives you a good understanding. You can also inspect what's in your object just by typing the variable. So let's type the x, and that returns 12. We can make another assignment. So let's try a really long one. So this is a really long name, and we'll set that to be 2.5. And we hit enter. To inspect this object, try RStudio's completion facility. So we'll try, what we can do is type in this and hit tab, and it automatically pops up a prefix. We can hit return, and then we get 2.5. So this shows you how we can use different commands to really use R to get the value we need. One thing I wanted to show you was the Alt minus function. I couldn't find Alt on my keyboard, but I just did. So if you hold down Alt and press minus, it automatically creates that caret. Next, we'll talk about calling functions, and then how to use data transformation using Dipler.